Hello everyone, it's Sloth, and today we are going back to the roots. Today, Esper Control. We will talk about the deck in a second. For now, let's go with the stats. And this time I will try to focus on only stats. So we didn't play many games, it was 6 games, we won 4 of them, 2 were lost. The feeling was pretty strong from the deck. We actually had a lot of interactions and we closed game really fast with this deck. Like, it's not a grinding deck, it's the eye counter and then you are dead deck. So we went 67% win rate, and I honestly feel that this deck is exactly like this. It feels quite strong. So we can go into like play history. So if you don't want games to be spoiled, that's your cue to switch into the deck intro. And if you are here, so we basically went 400 positions in Mythic up after playing those games, and yeah, that was pretty quick. So overall, I like the deck, but let's go into the intro and see exactly why this deck is special. Okay, and now we are in this special deck, because it's not the typical control that you see. So first of all, this is not my deck. This is Riley Hicks. I hope I didn't butcher this. Riley Hicks deck, and I believe he won the tournament with this deck. So yeah, it's obviously designed for some meta and so on, and it has very interesting choices for some of the cards. So let's start. First of all, we actually have 4 wash away. So it's a good counter spell, and it can, for example, counter as well. For example, Obsnikilis, the casualty one, because it wasn't cast from the hand. It can also counter Tenacious Underdogs, which gives you a lot of tempo, because basically enemy pays 4 mana and 2 life for something you counter for 1. So there are situations when this play will be good. And if not, you just have Saw It Coming, like for the full cost. So it's just a counter spell, right? So it is interesting choice, and it can have some upsides. To be honest, they are not happening quite a lot, but you know, worst case you have just a normal counter spell and it's still good. Okay, that was the first interesting choice. The second one, Test of Talent. We have 2 of them, but they are actually, I think in every game they were useful, because right now Boros is so big as a deck, and normally against aggro you hate Test of Talent because you cannot hit anything with it. But against Boros they exactly have 2 cards that you want to exile. They have this Magma Royal or whatever, the sorcerer speed 3 damage with kicker, and they have Play with Fire, and you want to exile both those cards and counter them, and suddenly enemy has no burn in the deck. Like, they probably have something more, but generally it's just mostly those 2 cards. So this is not a dead card even against the most popular aggro right now. So good choice, I think. Good choice, and I was always happy to draw this card in the games we've played, so I guess that tells a lot. What more? We can play like this because we play 3 Celestus, and it means that we can cycle every bad card. So in case this is not the matchup, you usually can cycle at least 1-2 cards during the game, even against aggressive decks. And you have 3 Celestus, so there is high chance that you will draw one. So yeah, that's a good combination. I always like this kind of looting mechanism combined with a bit of a sideboard cards, because then you don't really get the drawback, especially in the longer games. And I personally really like Celestus. I feel that like every deck I've played Celestus with just feels more consistent and like streamlined. You can heal, you can cycle your breath cards. Suddenly, especially during long games, if you play 10 turns with this on battlefield, the amount of control it gives is just insane, and you can basically heal like 5 life very often during like short span of the time. Yeah, I know it's probably 4 or 5 turns, but you get the idea. You have additional benefits, and it's still a mana stone. The fact that you can pay 3 in case you have really like complete flood with the lands, and you can force some kind of like day or night time depending on what you need, knowing the enemy will switch it back. That's actually also really good. So I really like Celestus in the decks. Maybe too much, so sorry for this long rambling. Path of Peril. This is one of the most interesting ones for me. I still can't figure it out exactly, to be perfectly honest. So this card is obviously quite strong, especially if you are on the play, because then the enemy has only 2 drops in the game. So when you cast it for 3 mana, you sweep everything, or you just go for 6 mana sweeper, and also Celestus helps here, because if you have Celestus in the field, it's basically a 5 mana sweeper, so a bit like a Doomscar without the Fortel. You know, we are getting in a bit more acceptable areas. But still, that is interesting choice. Probably I missed something behind why it was included. Maybe it's good against some kind of matchup. I personally probably... Well, I guess it's good against aspirants, things like this that grow, so they cost not much mana, but they still grow every turn. Like, even angels, like, if you can get to 6 mana, you can sweep everything in angel decks. With Meathook Massacre, for 6 mana, you will -4/-4, so good luck with removing an angel. So I guess that was the reasoning behind. That's peculiar. I'm still not convinced, to be perfectly honest, but obviously, you know, it worked. So maybe Path of Peril is the new Meathook Massacre. Who knows? Okay, another interesting card choice. Siphon Insight. We won't talk too much about this card, but I think you all know this card. You probably like it. I love this card. Like, it's really cool. And the fact that we can use it with Celestus, for example, and just discard it, basically gives us 3 cards. So that's pretty good. And you can use it to hit lands very often. In some games you will see that even late game, this one additional land was a huge difference on the full gameplay, because we have Hullbreaker Horrors. So we really need a lot of mana. So yeah, that's the thing. For the card though, we don't run only Memory Deluge, we have Behold the Multiverse, and I really like this one in this case because we sometimes whiff on the lands. And with Behold the Multiverse, as long as you have 2 lands, you won't whiff on more lands, because you can foretell it, and then if you miss the land drop, you just main phase it, and you have to hit 1 land. Like, if you don't hit land, the game was destined to lose, right? Okay, and we have still Memory Deluges, but it's split between 2 card draws. We have 1 Edgar, and Edgar is really good here because it helps you gain life back, which is a problem. So this together with Meathook actually does the work. And yeah, those little vampires that can charm block and heal you for 1 instead of getting additional like 4 damage from some werewolf is a big thing, and I really like the addition of Edgar. It did its job. So, overall feeling for the deck. The deck is interesting. It doesn't exactly play like, you know, those grindy controls. It seems more sharp. Like, you are doing first 3 or 4 turns, you counter something, you play something, like you ramp with Celestus, and you quickly get into your Hullbreakers, and as the moment you hit 7-9 mana, 9 if you think enemy can remove the Hullbreaker's unit protection, basically you just cast the Hullbreaker Horror and force enemy to concede. So this deck really ends the game quite quickly compared to the other control decks, and it feels just sharp overall. Like, you can tell that this was designed in some particular like game, like tournament winning mindset, because it can be felt. And yeah, I like the choices. Like, I was a bit hesitant at first, but after playing the games, I actually felt that all the cards were in the exact place I needed them. So, well done. So, I think that's the intro. The games were pretty cool, so I hope you will enjoy those. If you like this kind of decks, we will be showcasing more of them, definitely. And as always, subscribe, because it really helps to grow the channel. If you feel that this kind of content and my commentary is okay, at least, or hopefully good, yeah, that's how you can support it, and I really appreciate everyone that did it. So without further ado, I think let's go into the games, and thank you for your attention. Enjoy. So, as usually, on the draw, hand is pretty okay, except not having blue, but easy. However, if we play it on blue, we could theoretically wash away, but then we cannot cast Vanishing Verse. So let's play like this. And I think Juar is a spell, because we have Celestus, so probably we won't get stuck. And I think we are playing third time in a row against like the same deck. Like, I'm getting used to only playing Boros right now. If that's the case, then my strategy has changed. Because then now Juar is really good. Wow. That is some interesting play. We will still counter it. Because Brutal Qatar is problematic with a night mode. We really don't want to, you know, do nothing. So we keep Wash Away right now. Enemy needs to double spell to go through our shield. And if he cannot, that's not great for him. That's actually okay. So he puts the counter, we play Celestus. Yeah, I thought that he won't be playing anything else if we allow this one. He sees that we have a counter spell. Yeah, no, I don't think there's a wash away target in their deck. So, what we are doing, this will be white. Man, we could actually just wait with the Vanishing Verse. It might be Raiju, right? You know what? I think we just take it. It's just 3 damage overall. Sure. Play with fire. Their favorite card. So. See? It's Raiju. And now let's think. Unfortunately, the fact that we are thinking already gave up that we have a counter spell. The removal, so that's not great. Yeah, we don't allow this to attack. Infernal Grasp is something that we will use at some point, but it doesn't have like limitations. And it's not like we will exile the enchantment most likely. So we definitely don't want to cast anything, but we actually have to. I would prefer to cycle, but maybe the next turn, maybe the next turn. Let's cast this one. And yeah. We lack 1 mana. If I had 1 mana more, I could use the Celestus for 3. Exactly, so that was my expectation for the play. And that's why I didn't want to tap out completely. Right now that was his full turn, and he also allowed us to cycle. So, Field of Ruin seems pretty nice. Man, Path of Peril? I'm not sure how good is it. Enemy can activate it if he draws an untapped land. So let's wait. Because we won't have an... like, there is never a perfect combination that we can cover everything. Exactly. Now he would attack if we tapped the Field of Ruin. Initiate. Okay, sure. You need something more. We are at 12 and we will be healing with Celestus. I think we are in a good spot. You know what? That's actually really good for us. Enemy has 0 cards. so we can do it safely right now, because next turn we won't have a lot of mana. We will cast Path of Peril. And we want blue most likely. It will be hard, it depends on his top deck a lot. Oh man, that's a really good draw. That's a really good, that's basically a free card for nothing. So right now he has absolutely nothing. No creature lands, no cards, no creatures. Only this top deck. Oh my god. It's first time in my life that they didn't top deck something with haste in this situation. I'm like, my life is complete right now. My life is complete. Unfortunately, I think a counter spell. An enemy needs to be scared if that's what we discard. So, yeah. Let's give enemy some room to play magic. Okay. We can draw first and see what we get. Oh, those are definitely some good cards. I don't want to pay the ward though, so we will take those. And just counter so the board is empty. And he cannot really go through Hullbreaker without like anything else. So the game should be very quickly won. If he draws something with haste, we just block, and if he doesn't, we get free Hullbreaker and he cannot deal 8 damage. Like, he doesn't have the cards. Brutal Qatar is as good of a removal as he has, but it's sorcery speed. So I'm pretty sure the game is over. Our booty warrior. Somehow it fits me, like the full deck. So now he will probably scoop, I would assume. Easy. Hullbreaker Horror, always doing the scooping thing for the enemy. Okay, so very interesting start. We are on the play, so I think it's way better, and maybe we can keep it. Let's start with this one. It's not like we will counter something. Double Test of Talent as a start. That's interesting. Let's go for double black first, for the path. And we keep drawing lands, which is interesting. But we have counter spells enabled, so like, we have a lot of control over this game right now. And we have time. You know what? I will foretell it. Because we might decide to not tap out at all. Okay, interesting. Enemy needs to cast an instant spell. It might be Negate or Jewari. Okay. Celestus. Like, we could cycle this, right? But it's a bit late, to be honest. I think we have to hit something better. Like, those cards don't really solve any problems. Okay, this one does. Okay, those cards are much better. We have quite a lot of blue in the cost, so let's go for blue. And most likely, like, we could just take one hit, right? Enemy can already do something, so let's see. If he taps the treasures right now, then we kill the dragon. And if not, like, it's the same this turn as turn before. Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, create a treasure. Okay, interesting. So I think this is the moment, right? Yeah, I think it's now. And then we test of talent whatever he has to protect it. Seems he doesn't have it even. Okay, interesting. I don't really mind this card. Like, we will see what happens, but it doesn't seem like the worst situation. He needs 5 treasures to make it work. Okay, you got 1 treasure. Actually, we should counter it before he made the treasure. Okay, and let's see what he has. Sacred Fire, okay, not great cards. And let's check the deck exactly. Magma Opus, of course. Showdowns. Showdowns will be a bit scary. What is this? If Esper will... Okay. Okay, whatever. Okay, and a lot of burn. That's a strange deck. Enemy is just... wow. He's pretty angry right now, apparently. Usually it happens when they sense that they might lose the game. Okay, interesting. We still didn't hit the white mana, so that's some problem. Enemy will cycle this, right? But we will see what we do. We will see. Like, cycling is not the worst. Okay, so you don't pay the cost for something. And he wants to cast this. Let's counter it. Yeah. Usually if they like go full your go mode, if you play a bit slower, they will just scoop. So easy wins in this way. If you really want to increase the win rate, that's the easiest way to do it. Oh man, we actually start with this deck. And that's really good start with Behold the Multiverse. Like, even though the Deluge is so much stronger on the card draw, like the fact that you can play this as a 2-drop very often is very important. Especially if you whiff on the lands, like we are right now. Because we can cast it next turn and basically make sure that we never miss a land drop for the rest of the game. Even though we are super behind. Okay, so we have two options how to play this. We can remove it and slow him down, because this gives him crazy mana acceleration. Or we can go Celestus and want to go for the Meathook Massacre. He will have 4 mana. What they have? They have Tovlar and Planewalker. I think Planewalker was for 4 mana. I will go like this. I think that mana acceleration is very good for us. Like, this will benefit us for the rest of the game, every single turn. So I think, yeah, Tovlar, of course. And now we need to hit untapped land. That's unfortunate. Because then we can sweep basically everything. Oh man. So he removes this and ramps us into land. We have Swan. So let's take a Swan. Interesting play. Not saying it's bad, but interesting one. Let's play it main phase. I don't love losing HP, but I will if I have to. I definitely will if I have to. Double blue is okay, we need more black. We casted main phase, so we don't need to do anything else, because the night mode won't trigger. Snake Skill Veil is a thing, so that might be the punish. But they don't have it. This will be a lot of damage, but we just Meathook. And we kill Tovlar to prevent the card draw. Okay, there are no decisions, right? So, we remove the card draw, because otherwise he draws 3 cards, and that's definitely worth 1 removal. And if he casts something, that's good for us. So we will be at 13, not the worst. And he can draw a card. I wonder if he ever used this card. Maybe it's just like a budget version, but it doesn't seem to be. I don't like this choice. Like, he needs to go quickly. Oh, the upkeep stop. That was game changing, my friend. Completely. Let's go for white, because actually we don't have white mana so far. Yeah, I don't think mana screwing him is an option. So let's go like this. It would be great to have removal as well, but we need to get Meathook Massacre on the field. They might have more of the Reckless Stormseekers. You know what, that's actually one of the best plays that we could hope for. One white I think is enough. Yeah, I want more blue to cast Memory Deluge and a counter spell. Alright, it's probably Infernal Grasp and Edgar, right? Yep. Let's just remove it. It only costs 1 HP, and we have a very good blocker in case he has haste creatures, and it's still daytime, so the Reckless Stormseeker is not as scary. As deal damage, deals this much damage to any target. Okay, interesting. Interesting. But we can Vanishing Verse it easily, so that's not really a problem. We do it right now, because we don't want to switch into nighttime. And let's give enemy some breathing room, and suddenly enemy only has 3 cards and we have 4. Just a moment ago he had 6 and we had 3, I believe. Nothing. Nothing seems really good for us. He definitely has something, so let's see what he was trying to trick us with. But he cannot deal 10 damage without anything. It's probably some kind of combo that I don't know. Okay. That's actually not bad for us. So we will get some damage. 4 to be exact. But we get the token that will lifelink very quickly. So overall I'm not extremely sad. That's not so bad. It's nighttime, so that's a problem, but we can remove his cards quite easily. And we can cast Memory Deluge. Okay, maybe not this one, but it doesn't have haste, right? And when we cast Memory Deluge, man, I don't think he can win anymore. So I think another game was won. Oh, Hullbreaker Horror, yes please. And let's go for the counter spell. It seems like a generally good card. And the fact that we start having tokens is just so good. So he can get some mana, but nothing more. Vanishing Verse doesn't hit the Lord of Ulvenwald, but what the enemy can do, really? We have enough answers, we can just slow him down enough. Tovlar, okay. Play with fire is actually something we don't like because it gives him the scry. And for everyone that was wondering what the deck is and they want to copy it from the from our footage, here you go. Now you can. And that was it. Inscription is also good. It's basically the combo of the thing that attacked. Sure. Enemy has 1 card. I think we just double block this. Yeah, it will be Path of Peril. So let's lifelink as much as we can while the creatures are here. The minus of this play is the fact that it really shows enemy what we will be doing. Okay, that's a 1 damage trample. So he gets a free card, but we will get more of them. And if he plays something, that's still good for us. So let's also draw. And actually I want some lands. Bloodchief first. Honestly, I will... Man, I want Siphon Insight. I will take Siphon Insight. I like the card more. Let's make another one. Let's go for Brew. So this one needs 2 mana at least. Man, we just can cast Hullbreaker maybe. Let's go with the plan. Let's go with the plan. Oh, that's a good one. There might have been some mistakes. So I guess we want to switch into daytime, right? So let's do it right now. And I guess let's get a land. Because why not? So we did it just to turn it back into creature that we can handle. If it has to stay, it will be smaller. Like it's just 3/3. So 3 damage. But yeah, that was pretty heavy misplay on my part. Probably Hullbreaker Horror would be just better overall. Ellen is just going crazy. And we can what? Man, we should probably just go for the Hullbreaker. And by the way, this land will be extremely important right now. Because it will enable us to Vanishing Verse on top of the Hullbreaker. And we do it right now, so we don't switch to nighttime. So yeah, even though we misplayed really hard, I'm pretty sure we still win. But it is definitely much closer than it should. That's a good draw. So we exile this, and we bounce the Tovlar, most likely. If you control... Oh, so he does control. But let's see how exactly this works. I wonder if the 3 werewolves are removed while this is on stack. Like, the condition is not met, and I'm not sure how it works. Okay, so it doesn't. So it... Yeah, so the effect is not after, like, filling condition at the start of the upkeep. It needs to be, like... How do you say it? It needs to be fulfilled while the stack is resolved, basically. Okay, and that was a good game, but completely misplayed on my part. That was probably a stupid play. We had a good board, and Hullbreaker Horror was just easier to close the game, so yeah, learning for me, definitely. So, as usually on the draw, with double Celestus and a lot of counter spells. Oh man, this doesn't seem like a great hand. I think maybe Juari will save us. And of course, it's some aggressive deck. So I think we keep Juari. We have enough lands for now. So this will be black most likely, this will be blue. So let's go with the blue one. Okay, interesting. First let's go for Dimir mana, in case we hit Meathook or something like this. And then we go for Juari. And now he sees that we have counterspell, because that's the only thing that made sense here. Okay, now we can go into day-night cycle, which is a bit better. Unfortunately, he can flip the Flame Channeler, most likely. We need to dig into some sweeper, like very quickly. However, if we hit Path of Peril, we perfectly sweep everything, so that's pretty good. We don't have double blue, right? So we might as well do it like this. And start cycling our horrible draw. Pretty much. Definitely draw a card. Also, one of the worst draws in the deck, at least for 2 turns. We need to hit a sweeper. And enemy it would be great if he cast 2 spells. Okay, that has to be a counter spell. I could Field of Ruin maybe. Then we would get additional blue, but I'm not sure that that's the play. Oh yes, that's exactly what we needed. That's exactly what we needed. Can we cast 2 spells? Not really. We would have to Jewari ourselves, which seems horrible. So let's do it like this. That was a strong turn. And let's think, we have 4, 5, 6. So we actually need this because we want Hullbreaker Horror next turn. If we don't hit a land from the top, then we wouldn't be able to play Horror, and that would be pretty much at that turn. Okay, so enemy wanted to double spell. Yeah, because this cannot go face. However, he double spelled, so we get 1 HP back at least. But yeah, that's a lot of damage. Yep. That's definitely not great. Draw. We are drawing only lands. Except Meathook, the draw was pretty horrible here. So he will make a copy of the adversary, right? And he will cast something from the graveyard. So let's hope he doesn't draw. We also go into nighttime. Maybe we draw some removal finally. Also Path of Peril is extremely good here. Nope, lands. More lands. Seems about right. Okay, fine. At least he drew a land. That's good. I still think we probably will win this. It seems like a winning game to me, to be honest. He will hit for 3, but then we can trade here, and he cannot burn us with Test of Talents. So even here they are not a dead card, they are actually game-winning card right now. Like he has play with Fire and Magma Roil, so we just counter both of them and that's it. So, we do this, right? Yeah, that's okay. We bounce this. Okay, that's really good. I will take both. Those are really good cards. Yep, that's good game. Especially with Vanishing Verse. So he's waiting for some hasty drop, but it won't be good enough. And we can bounce the token, so Fable is a bit too slow here. Do we want to remove something? Not really. You know what? Actually, it's okay. We are at 6, so he cannot burn us with 1 card. And that's basically it, because we hold counter spells from now on. That was a close game, to be honest. But yeah, it was closed nicely. Okay, so this hand is not amazing. Definitely not amazing, especially on the draw. But I think it's more or less acceptable, because this might be our turn to play, and we have at least some counterplay with Sweeper, Mini Sweeper and Test of Talent. Let's start like this, so we can make decisions later. And enemy is apparently some aggressive deck. Test of Talent probably won't be a thing, right? They usually play creatures at start. So they might cast White and Cavalier next turn. So let's go for White, so we have Esper mana, and let's go for this, but it will be scary. Next turn this and black, as always. Cavalier on curve. So we probably want to cleave this, right? I think we need to play like this. I'm not sure if on the draw we can go to 6 mana. We need some removal. Okay, this is actually pretty good for us. If he casts something on our turn, we Test of Talented. But we are at 8 already. Oh man. Oh man. And we are on the draw, so we only have 5 mana and we cannot sweep this. On the play we would just sweep right now. That's a big difference. Let's go like this and see what we hit. Enemy has something. Probably play with fire. And that's an interesting call. So we will die, right? There won't be day-night. We draw 2 cards and enemy smorks for 7. So he kills us. I'm pretty sure he can kill us, so we need to go for removal. So we actually are forced to find some kind of removal. We might also go for the Path of Peril, for the cheaper cost. And honestly, it seems to be the play. Maybe you should just go... Oh man, that's 1 turn too late. Unfortunate. So we probably die, right? And maybe the correct play was just playing this and holding Test of Talent. It might have been better. But we'll see, we'll see. I hope he plays something slow. Like I initiate exactly. And then we can start going Meathook and somehow, some way, maybe we can reverse this. We have 1 more turn because before this becomes a creature, and we can cast Hullbreaker very quickly. Of course. Of course. Wow, that was the quickest Boros attack ever. You can feel the excitement.